Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Coffee with Tea. I'm your host, the amazing T Street. I came on today because today's topic is important to me. I wanted today to just do a little conversation about something that some friends and I were having a conversation about. My trainer and I were having this conversation. One of my groups of friends, they said, T, you are so good at boundaries. My trainer said, T, you should really teach a class on boundaries because you're so good at boundaries. And oftentimes when we hear the term boundary, we always have negative connotations. So today I wanted to talk about the concept that boundaries are actually blessings. Good morning, Alana. Good morning, Val. Good morning, Jackie. Good morning, Wendy. Boundaries are actually blessings. And I know when you're putting them in place, they don't feel like blessings. But because generally when we hear boundaries, we think restrictions, we think things that we can't do. People have to say no to, or opportunities they have to walk away from. But I've learned something in my journey. The most successful people I know aren't successful because they say yes to everything. They're successful because they know what deserves a no. They understand sometimes some things deserve a no. So think about it. Your house has walls. Your phone has a password. Your bank account has security. Your heart has a rib cage. Why? Because everything valuable deserves protection. So today I want to leave you with just a few simple thoughts around boundaries. Boundaries are they're not bound barriers to your blessings. Boundaries are actually blessings themselves. Boundaries are blessings, y'all. We're going to jump in. One, boundaries protect your peace. We always often hear people say, I'm protecting my peace. You cannot have peace if everything has access to you. Some of us answer every phone call, respond to every text, accept every invitation, carry everybody's problems. Then we wonder why we're exhausted. Here's the truth: not every emergency is your assignment. Sometimes people will make their lack of planning your crisis. No, your peace is valuable. Jesus often stepped away from the crowds to pray and to recharge. If the Savior of the world, y'all, needed boundaries, why do you think we're supposed to be available 24 hours a day? Sometimes the most spiritual word you can say is no. Not because you don't care, because you do. You care enough about your purpose to protect your peace. Number two, boundaries reveal priorities. Every yes costs you something. Every time you say yes, it costs you something. It costs you your time, your energy, your attention. If you say yes to everything, you're accidentally saying no to something. Sometimes that something is something more important. Here's an example. Imagine your calendar is a suitcase. If you keep some of y'all do this for when you travel. If you keep stuffing things into it, eventually it won't close and it will surpass the 50-pound limit that you can carry on without a charge. All right. So you have to stop and you have to say, am I choosing what stays out, or is life choosing it for me? Am I making the choice, or is life choosing it? People who live intentionally understand that boundaries answer one question: what's most important? Family matters. Protect family time. If your health matters, protect your rest and your opportunity to get your life together. If your dreams matter, protect your focus. Because whatever you refuse to protect, you'll eventually lose. Number three, boundaries create room for better. Good morning, Apostle. Boundaries, y'all, it creates room for better. This is probably my favorite part. Every boundary creates space. When you stop saying yes to distractions, you have room for purpose. When you stop entertaining negativity, you have room for joy. When you stop carrying people who refuse to walk, You have room to run towards your destiny. Some doors have to close so better doors can open. You can't fill a cup that's already overflowing with the wrong things. God can't put good stuff in us if we're overflowing with all the other things. We don't even make time for God. I'm doing God's work. No, you're not. Just all good work is not God's work. I learned that years ago in Purpose Driven Life. Not all good work is God's work for your life. So you got to say, what am I filling my cup with that I can't fill it with what I need to fill it with? Sometimes God isn't trying to give you more. He's trying to get you to let go of what's already taking up space. He wants you to let go of that which is unhealthy so that you can have healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries make room for better. I just want to leave you with this thought. A fence around a playground isn't there to keep children from having fun. It's there so they can play freely without fear. That's what boundaries do. They don't limit your life, they liberate your life, y'all. So this weekend, as you're coming up on the weekend, don't feel guilty for protecting your peace. Don't apologize for protecting your purpose. Don't be afraid to protect your future, because every time you establish a healthy boundary, you're telling yourself, I know my worth. You're telling others, I value my purpose. And if we're honest, you're telling God, I intend to steward the life that you've given me well. Remember this, boundaries aren't walls that keep blessings out. They're fences that protect the blessings that are already inside. And that's why boundaries are blessings. But they're only a blessing if we allow those boundaries to protect our peace, if we allow those boundaries to reveal our priorities, and ultimately, if we recognize that boundaries create room for better. Good morning, Tiffany. I don't know who needed this word this morning other than me, but I don't really need this word. But when my trainer said to me, T, you should teach a whole class on boundaries, because she'll say, we're going to do 4 sets. I said, my body's not doing 4 sets today. I'm going to do 3. I'm going to do 15 reps of 3 sets. My boundary game, y'all, is strong. My yes is a hecky yes. My no is a H to the no. I'm not doing that. I have that boundary with my family. I have that boundary with my church. I have that boundary with my friends. Once I'm a no, I'm a no. We call that a hell trait in my family. They're like, oh, she a hell. You're not going to get her to move if it is a boundary. And boundaries are healthy. Can I tell you? Because I say no to some people, things like coffee with tea are possible. I'm the amazing T Street. There's absolutely positively nothing amazing in me, y'all. There's not in each and every one of you. I came by to tell you today that boundaries are blessings, and they allow us to steward the life that God has given us well. Because for every well-placed no, you open up room for God's well-placed yes. Y'all have an amazing day. Be blessed.